This story comes to us from king5.com out of Washington, Auburn, Washington, actually. Before I get to it, I'm going to put a link to this story in the description box. But under that, I'm also going to put a link to a story where they say that police body cam video has been released of the shooting where the officer was shot at the gas station. Remember the domestic violence and the guy pulled up at the gas station and started shooting. There was a shootout. I did an editorial on that one, but they released the body cam footage apparently of the officer being shot at the gas station. I'll put a link to that as well in the description box below. But to get to this morning's story, an off-duty Auburn, Washington police officer who allegedly struck and killed a pedestrian in Seattle's Inner Bay neighborhood is facing charges of vehicular homicide, reckless driving, and a misdemeanor hit and run. He killed somebody, but it's a misdemeanor hit and run. I figure it'd be a felony, right? Maybe that's where the vehicular homicide comes in at. The officer, identified as 33-year-old Michael Smith, allegedly struck and killed 65-year-old Clifford Jones while he appeared to be under the influence of alcohol, according to charging documents. So it was a DUI and he killed somebody. The victim's daughter, Clifford's daughter, Miranda Hartman, spoke to King 5 over the phone and said Jones was her best friend and her protector. Well, it was her dad. Hartman said, "It's been hard. It's been very hard. We're doing the best that we can. He's going to be missed by a lot of people." Now, Clifford Jones was a retired Marine who attended college in Edmonds. He had 2 daughters, 7 grandchildren, and went by the nickname Rooster. Smith, this off-duty officer, was driving his 2016 Mercedes northbound on Alaskan Way in Seattle on April 23rd of this year. Smith was driving the outside lane when he struck the right rear corner of a taxi that was driving in the inside lane. The collision caused minor damage to the taxi. Neither the taxi driver nor the passenger were injured, according to documents. Now, both cars stopped and Smith exited his vehicle. He appeared angry and opened the front passenger door of the taxi in an attempt to grab the driver out of the car, according to charging documents. Smith then attempted to open the driver's side door when the driver said he was calling the police. Smith returned to his car and sped off northbound on Alaskan Way without leaving his contact information, insurance information, or waiting for the police to arrive. 10 minutes after Smith allegedly hit the taxi, he was speeding northbound on 15th Avenue Northwest when a witness reporting him passing traffic using the oncoming southbound lane. Another witness estimated he was going about 80 miles an hour. You don't know that. He don't have calibrated eyes. Come on. Data obtained from his car's crash data recorder showed Smith going 85 miles per hour on a road with a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit in the seconds before he crashed. Wow, that witness that estimated 80 miles an hour, he must have calibrated eyes. He was close, 85. I don't know how the hell he saw that. But this guy had a crash data recorder in his car, and apparently it monitored him at 85 miles an hour. Was that like a black box for a car? Well, they say Smith tried to turn right onto Gilman Drive West before reaching the intersection. He could not remain in the right lane and drove onto the sidewalk, sideswiped a telephone pole, and struck pedestrian Clifford Jones. Jones suffered catastrophic injuries and was killed almost immediately. Smith continued through a grassy uphill embankment, striking 3 mailboxes before coming to a stop against the northern curb of the westbound lane of Gilman Drive, about 100 feet away from the sidewalk. Then he stumbled out of his car, told the witness he was okay, and pointed and said, "He's not."
"I'm fine. He's not."
When the officers responded to the scene, he admitted to drinking alcohol at a Mariners game before the crash, but declined to do an FST. Now, the taxi driver was brought there and ID'd him and said, that's the guy. But what gets me is the audacity of this guy to stumble out of the car and go, I'm okay. He's not. Wow. Off-duty police officer. And we'll see what he gets. I mean, we know that he's going to be charged with all of this stuff, but the conviction, that's, the end of it all, the conviction. Because this guy might get 5 years for all of this. Whereas, somebody that's not a police officer would get 40 years to life. But I don't know, maybe he will get 40 years to life. We'll see. Maybe this is one we should follow up on. But there's another one, off-duty police officer. Police officer. You think this guy was, how many people has he rolled up on DUI crashes and given them lectures on drinking and driving, this cop? And I know that's all hypothetical and we don't know, but he's a cop. Obviously, it's part of his job to respond to those calls, right? What do you think? You let me know.